Hey all, it's Brendon from the Brendon Show podcast, and welcome to another conversation about how do you strive in chaos. And certainly we've seen another full week of a tremendous amount of chaos and uncertainty and fear. And as this global pandemic marches on, people continue to have to deal and cope, and that's not easy. And so we're seeing beautiful expressions of caring and loving and compassion and self-care. We're seeing extraordinary, exceptional heroism and courage on those first responders, those who are out in the hospitals, those who are also out there making the world still go forward. Oh my gosh, what a time to be grateful for our humanity, grateful for our everyday life, grateful for the conveniences and luck and the opportunities and the blessings. Grateful and appreciative of this breath that you have, people. I know you know what I'm talking about. If I look like a hot, dragged out, ragged mess, it's only because I just did 5.5 hours live today. So many of you know I do 2 hours live for my coaching group. Then I did another, 2 hours live for my marketing group. Then I did another hour plus for my mastermind group, all today. So 5.5 hours I've been literally talking today, which is kind of average for me, but it was a big day. And I shared something today that I thought would be the theme for this message of striving in chaos. And it's this concept of Friday finishers. Friday finishers. Now, I don't know if you're watching this on Saturday or whatever day you're seeing this or listening to this later on the Brendon Show podcast, but what's a Friday finisher? It really resonated with a lot of people today, so I thought I'd share it. Since it is Friday, as I'm filming this, I want you to go in your mind and let me be your coach just for a little minute here and challenge you just a little bit. Because listen, my job has always been to empower people, to educate people, to share the research from the sciences of high performance. And so let me ask you a question, and don't get hooked by it, don't be upset by it, but maybe consider it for real. And that is this. Today's Friday. Did you have a list of things that you had to finish by end of day Friday? Meaning if I showed up at your house right now, I say, show me your list. It's Friday afternoon. It's Friday end of day. Show me your list of the things that you were supposed to get done by end of day Friday. And here's what I am seeing. Out there in this scary and difficult time, in moments of chaos, you know what people do? Man, they stop playing the time management game. Oh, I'll wait and see how things turn out. Oh, you know what? My goals don't matter anymore. I'm going to put my dreams on pause. And so what they stop doing is planning. In crisis, we go into protection mode and we forget to also plan. And so let me ask you this question. Did you have a list of what we call Friday finishers? Did you have a list of things that had to be done by Friday at 5 p.m. this week? Now, the good news is either that is, yes, I did, Brendon, or no, I did not, and you can't lie to yourself. You either had things you were doing this week, and you had them written down, and you planned towards them, or not. Now, of course, people go, well, Brendon, that's unrealistic expectations. It's chaos out there. How can you ask people to still have goals? I'm like, because if you give up on all goals right now, what does that say about your real values? What's that say about your real strength? We can do self-care. We can care for ourselves, care for our families, and still do 1 or 2, 3 things every day to move our lives positively forward. That was a big part of my message today. Did you have Friday finishers? It's such a simple thing. Now, I went 2 hours on 20 other topics, but this one seemed to resonate with a lot of people because it's an easy one to gauge our truth on, which is, did you run into this week waiting to react all week long? Or did you say, you know what, I'm going to do these things to move the week forward, move the dream forward, make things happen. Even if, hey, listen, your Friday finisher might have been, hey, I showered every day. You know what I mean? Your Friday finisher might have been, I made my resume because I got laid off, Brendon. Your Friday finisher might have been, hey, by the end of the week, I sent out those 3 emails or I sent those 3 prospect calls. Hey, that's cool. I'm not here to gauge nor to judge the size of your ambitions or your lists right now. I'm here to remind you, you'd better still care about time management, and you'd better still care about planning for the week Even if planning for the week is just for you. So you got it? Friday finisher. Did you have a full list? And I think that's really important. Now listen, so many people are not moving towards their dreams because they're just protecting right now, or they're hiding out, holding out, detaching into distraction. And I keep sharing this simple idea. If I could give you a visual, it's like this, okay? Right now, if your performance dips, well, that's okay. The economy's dipping, time is dipping. There's a big pause right now, okay? And those things are tied together. But now let's visualize what happens when this happens. If your performance dips, you stop going after your dreams, you don't practice positive habits, you don't make progress towards things that matter. If that dips, and then things level out in the economy, in the world, things return to some semblance of what we call normality, and your performance is here, and you're conditioning yourself to go down here, and the world starts going back up. Guess what happens there? That thing, that gap, that is called the performance gap. That is called the skill gap. That is called the time gap. Now it's going to take extra time to get back on the wagon, extra time to get yourself back together, extra time to move things forward. Now, I'm not saying you have to go and achieve monumental things each week, though I'm seeing plenty of people doing it. I'm here to say that no matter what situation you're in, what a blessing is we get to, as I've said from day one of this crisis, we get to adopt the role model mindset and recognize how we show up now is going to make us proud later on, or really have to ponder why we became who we were. It's going to be something that other people see and they're inspired by. We can spread the emotional contagion of adaptability, of positive attitude, of optimism and confidence. Even in life's most difficult moments, we can honor the struggle and summon the best of who we are. I've said from day one, you must now optimize your health and wellness. How many of you out there have been the person in your community for years talking about the value of wellness, and everyone thought you were like foo-foo or crazy, and now they're going, wow, this self-care stuff really matters. It's like half the world is discovering like self-care and positive, healthy habits kind of matter to not only immunity, but also to your ongoing well-being mentally. That's important. Also, what else? I've been sharing, you got to skill up. You got to skill up. You got to do your learning, read your books, take your online courses, develop new skills that are necessary for this new oncoming virtual, digital, online economy. I think those are all important. And so I don't just preach this to you, I'm doing this too. My Friday finishers, you know what I did in the last 5 days? I shot a total, I just counted, of 61 videos. So I filmed 61 videos and I edited them. Oh, and I managed my team and teams across our brands, which total over 200 people now. We haven't had to lay off people. We've kept them going because I recognize time management still matters. My performance still matters. Even though the world slowed down, the people who need me on my A game didn't slow down. My family still needs me. My leads, my managers, they still need me. The people I serve, they still need me. Just because the world slowed down didn't mean the service needed to slow down. I still have to be there for people. And so people say, James is asking, when do you rest? Work, 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 work. No, if you've ever studied anything I've ever done, I'm the guy that shows that you can get unbelievable amounts of work done and still be in harmony in life. Read High Performance Habits, because the grind, work yourself to death mentality, that got plenty of people into trouble. That is not what I teach, nor have I ever taught. I've always taught the science of high performance, which is conclusive about one thing. You can have long-term success and still maintain well-being and positive relationships. For those out there who still believe you have to grind yourself in the ground to have success, you've listened to social media influencers and never studied the science of people who actually monitored this, categorically measured it, and shown it over and over after research. If you don't know what I'm talking about, read your book, High Performance Habits, and you go, oh crap, there's a whole different way to go about this. You can achieve extraordinary things without grinding yourself into the ground. And once you figure that out, joy, happiness, harmony, optimism, good vibes come from your day, not grind, bemoan, just like struggle. That's not how the world needs to be. What else do we know? Well, those are my 3 messages. Adopt a role model mindset, take care of your health and optimize your wellness, and then skill up. But what I did this week, 60 plus videos that I shot and edited, cared for my family, cared for my team, sent 5 appreciative audios or videos every single day, went live for you guys every single day, did 5 podcasts, answered 780 some emails for real, and built 4 new campaigns. Now, how is that possible? How is that possible? Because what is showing up for you right now isn't your response to the pandemic. What is showing up for you right now is your conditioning and the team that you have set in place a year ago and 6 months ago. See, most people think, I'm having to deal with this pandemic right now. And yes, we are. We absolutely are. But what's coming up for people is their conditioning and how they've trained themselves to deal with difficult emotions. Because please remember, let's keep perspective. This pandemic is super serious, it's very scary, and things have shut down. It's a very serious problem. But the vast majority of the world, like you're talking 7 billion plus people, are not sick, haven't been infected, and certainly have not died. And so what's showing up for everybody who's freaking out? Who's freaking out at home thinking they're stuck at home when they're actually safe and privileged at home? What's showing up for people right now when they can't handle the uncertainty? It's our conditioning of how we've handled uncertainty before. Our patterns are showing up more than the pandemic is showing up. Woo! Say it again, Mr. Burchard. Tell me one more time, coach. For the vast majority of the world, the patterns that we've been conditioning ourselves for are showing up more than the pandemic. Certainly that's true by statistical analysis alone. And so what do we have to do? We have to recognize how we are showing up is a conditioned response of how well we've trained ourselves. But I would also say that what is showing up for a lot of people is grace right now. Let me give an example. Grace right now is showing up for a lot of people, and they don't even recognize it. And I'm not preaching here. I recognize that today. I was like, oh, wow. Because guess what happened? You know, Denise and I moved to Puerto Rico, whatever it was, a year and 5-6 months ago. And when we did that, I no longer had the support mechanisms I had from my career. So many of you have seen all those videos on YouTube, all those online courses. What did I used to have? Well, I had a studio, I had a film crew, I had videographers, I had lights, camera, action. We moved down here, I didn't have any of that. So I can't tell you how many countless nights I spent learning these 3 new cameras, learning this new podcast gear, learning to broadcast to the world by myself, and all of it going, oh, this is so hard, this is so difficult. Well, guess what? Today I went live for my audience worldwide for 5.5 hours. And I ran the whole thing myself. And I'm not bragging about that. I'm like, oh, wow. If I hadn't been taught how to do that months ago, I wouldn't have been able to serve now. Thank you, God, for having me learn those skills that showed up for me now. At that time, it felt like a big pain in the butt. But I didn't know. I was being trained to be able to serve now. Did you know that? You've been being trained for the last 6 months, last 12 months, and last 18 months. You've been being trained so you could better serve now. You've been being trained so you could be a better role model now. Those last 18 months of difficulty trained you how to deal with the difficulty in front of you now. You just sometimes detach from that reality. You've been being trained. You've been being conditioned. You've either been training yourself by doing the hard work of self-improvement. Do you know how many people around the world right now are going, ooh, this self-improvement stuff and mindfulness stuff and wellness stuff, this stuff really matters, OMG. And those of you who are in my community, we're kind of like, yeah, we're not the first to talk about this. Human philosophy has been here and recorded for 2,000 plus years. Philosophy, psychology, sociology, behavioral economics, self-improvement, these are not new topics. So for those of you who've done the work, you've done the internal work of self-mastery for years and years and years, good for you, because that's showing up and giving you strength right now. For those of you who are finding this is really awful and really brutal and really difficult to manage, this is the time to really engage in personal development. For all those times you made fun of people who went to seminars, for all those times you made fun of people for reading their self-help books, for listening to their podcasts, do you notice how they're coping better than you? This is your time to engage of what other people have engaged in for centuries, personal growth. This is your time. This is your time. This is your time to learn, to master your emotions, to find your emotional center, to cultivate well-being, mind, body, spirit. This is your moment. This is the moment. If you've never dived deep into self-improvement, into psychology, into philosophy, into leadership, where have you been? Where have you been? Now's the moment. If you're ever going to do it, the need and the requirement has been placed before you. Time to dig in, time to start over, time to redefine yourself, time to commit yourself to deep personal development. Because if this is super hard for you, when most people are completely safe, when the vast majority, we're talking, listen, look at the numbers, it's scary because you see the tolls rise every morning. But you also have to compare that to the number of living human beings. If this, which is scary and is real and is a pandemic, has completely knocked you off, when the greater realities of climate change hit us, when the next thing hits us, listen, you better skill up right now. I'm just here to say, let's all be real. The time for personal development and self-mastery is here. Dig deep, learn. I'm also here to say, real reverence for life shows up in your time management. How you use your time demonstrate whether or not you're really grateful for life. And so that's why simple reminders of Friday finishers. Listen, if you didn't have a full list that you worked towards to accomplish by the end of this week, even it was simple actions of calling family or loving people, then I'm encouraging you. I'm cheering you on. Then guess what, y'all? When you start this next week, Sunday or Monday, write down everything you're due. Write down your Friday finisher list. By end of day Friday, these will have been the major things I achieved this week. And if you will do that, you will have honored life itself. Because you have progressed your life and you have shown that you care about what you do with your time. That's important to hear. I care for this audience so much, and I don't want you to think that you have to now sacrifice self-care and peace for productivity. No, that's why they have that saying of the peaceful warrior. You can still strive and be happy and centered and mindful and harmonious and balanced. The idea that you can't is people who gave up or never studied high performance. Actually, have never worked with the top 15% of successful people in any industry or field who found how to do that. There is a way to do that. Read High Performance Habits if you haven't. If you don't want to buy the book, go on my podcast and go listen to season number 4. I put it as an Easter egg. The entire audiobook of High Performance Habits is on the Brendon Show podcast. You got to go way back to like season number 4, but it's there for you free for the whole world. So I hope this is serving you. I've been doing this series that we are calling Striving in Chaos. Today was the most simplistic one for you, and that is just develop that Friday finisher list. It's a good gut check to see if you managed your week well. And it's also a reminder that all of the audios of these sessions are up on the Brendon Show podcast. Go to the Brendon Show podcast. The link is in my bio on Instagram. Click that link and download all the episodes that say Striving in Chaos or say coronavirus, and listen to them to find your strength again, to find your courage, your optimism, refine your motivation and your focus through these difficult times. It will really serve you. With that, any questions, my friends? I'm here for you. Post them down below. Give me a shout out where you're from. Tell me your question. All things are open for the next few minutes. Julia, season 6 of the podcast. Season 4 of the Brendon Show podcast is my entire audiobook of high performance habits for free for the entire world right now. You got to dig back to season 4. We put it as an Easter egg, and in podcasting, that means we kind of hit it back there. You have to go back to it. Let's see. I can't read your name. Is how do you stand out while working remote? There's only 2 ways to always stand out. Number 1 is to be the person who adds the most value. To ask, how can I add more value than other people? Because you know what most people are doing right now? They're showing up late. Yeah, they're online, but they're disengaged. They're looking at their phone. They're not there. Presence right now is adding tremendous value. Empathy is adding tremendous value, right? The other way, leadership and consistency in leadership. You being the role model, you being the positive messenger of good advice and good wisdom, that is always a way to stand out. Great question. Thank you for your question. I see people from Greece, from California, from Colombia, from Ecuador. That's amazing. I see people from Singapore, from Brazil, from San Diego. What's up, guys? I see people from New York. Hi, guys. I see you too. I appreciate you being here with us. Welcome to HPX. If you've never been on HPX, HPX stands for the High Performance Experience. It's my thesis and belief that there is another level of life experience for people where it's more engaged, more joyous, more intentional and courageous. We just need new habits and mindsets to get there, and that's what I spend my life doing for you all. I got Mexico and Ontario in the house. I got, let's see. I saw a question. Have I canceled my events for October? No, I still have my live events. Going to happen in October. I really believe that the world is going to get back to travel and a need for being with people in immersion, in learning, in celebration. That's still going to be there. All right. Right now, we're in a moment of pause for that, but it will return just like all things will. So let's have trust and faith in that. Let's see. But Max, no, I haven't. Yeah, the dates are October 10th through 12th. It will be in San Diego for Influencer, October 10th through 12th. Let's see, Steve is reading The Charge, my book. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. If you've never read it, if you don't feel alive right now, if you're scared right now and you don't understand your human emotions, read the book The Charge by yours truly, by Brendon Burchard. The book The Charge. The subtitle is The 10 Human Drives. Activating the 10 Human Drives that make you feel alive. Forgot my own subtitle. Activating the 10 Human Drives that make you feel alive. Check that out. Thank you so much, Unraveling Travel. I appreciate it. Let's see. I often lose self-confidence, they're asking. Listen, self-confidence comes from 3 things. Number 1, it comes from competence. Knowing that you have the knowledge, skills, abilities, wisdom, competency to handle what is at hand, right? So always be learning, always be skilling up. Get the training you need in your area of expertise and in any area of your life. Number 2, confidence comes from belief in our ability to figure things out, even if we don't have the competence. Confidence says, with enough time, energy, effort, and getting in it, I'll figure it out. And number 3, it comes from momentum and connection. Momentum towards things that matter to us. The more we have momentum towards things that matter to us, the more we feel pride and strength and self-respect that gives us confidence. And connection is a sense of caring and a sense of connection with other people. The more we are connected with other people, the more our self-confidence will grow as well. That's why you need to be doing your FaceTimes and your Zooms and your Stripes and your Skypes and your connection with other people. It will really help. Okay, let's see. Bits is asking, how can I stop self-sabotage? You first realize you're not self-sabotaging. You're lacking proper mindsets and habits. It's not, you aren't purposely going, I'm destroying myself. Self-sabotage is actually a really poor phrase. It's actually a very poor description of what's happening for people. Go watch my YouTube video, just search my name and self-sabotage, and it'll walk you straight through that. I hope that helps and serves you. What else, y'all? Do a few more. Let's see, how's Denise? She's doing great. She has been a champion for me. I mean, talk about how somebody who inspires me. She has been so positive throughout this, so caring of the family, so thoughtful about getting the things that we need, that I can focus on serving you, from supplies to food to just, as many of you know, she's way more of a sunshine in the morning than I am. I'm not the biggest morning person. It takes me a while to like get going. And she's just immediately happy and dancing in the morning, and that really helps me. Murray asked if I believe in God. Of course, and yes, I do. If you read any of my books, you will always see in the acknowledgement, thanks to my Creator, to my God, for all the blessings of a second chance that I was given, and all the blessings to serve each and every one of you, and for what I believe to be the blessed competencies that somehow and gifts that I was given that allowed me to want to do this. For 15 years, I've been here every day for you, creating 4 pieces of unique content, pretty much unbroken, unless I was in a hospital bed. 15 years. It's wild. Who wants to do that every day? That's hard. I want to, and I love it. I love it. I haven't stopped in 15 years. I absolutely adore it. I love you guys. I love being here for you. I love being part of this community, and I think that God gave me that willingness. I don't know many people who would love to shoot 60 videos in a week, build 4 web pages, send emails to millions of people, go live every day, create podcasts, and talk to all the leaders in the industry, and still do his coaching business. And I love it. I thrive on it. Super weird. I am very strange. Okay. I hope that serves you guys. My next book, coming along good. Thanks for asking, Steve, asking about my wife and my book. I appreciate that, man. Next book, a little slower than I want, given the efforts I've turned up in our businesses to serve you all, but it's on time. Next book will come out in November. I'll announce that probably next month, the topic of that, but I'm pretty excited about it. Okay, hey y'all, I appreciate each of you. Vinny's asking about anxiety. Hey, tell you what, y'all, any question you possibly could have right now, stress, anxiety, overwhelm, or even like boredom or lack of focus or purpose, go to my YouTube channel and type in my name and just type in that topic. Type in Brendon Burchard, purpose, Brendon Burchard, motivation, Brendon Burchard, stress, Brendon Burchard, overwhelm, Brendon Burchard, conflict, relationships, whatever you are dealing with. I got a 20-minute video for free, ad-free on YouTube. 15 years of work right there in sharing everything I know about psychology, philosophy. It's all right there. It's all right there for y'all. I hope you'll enjoy it. All right, I want you to all stay safe, optimistic, healthy, confident, and strong. We're going to get through this as a community, as a global human story that we will look back to, that we will be proud of, right? Because listen, there's only 2 things in life. There's struggle and there's progress. And sometimes they happen on the same dang day. But there are 2 stories. And so if this is a moment of struggle for the world, guess what? Progress will come from it, even if it looks hard and even if it looks distant. But every day you get to wake up and you choose your mindset. Every day. How am I going to approach this day? Okay, I don't feel good. Great. Allow that for a moment. Allow that for a day. And then say, okay, what do I need to do to add value, to be on my A game, to be there for my family, and less. People say, you demand a lot from people. I go, no. People should demand a lot from themselves. In moments of need and crisis, we should absolutely not hide. We should absolutely not be selfish. We should absolutely care for one another, because that is what has always carried on humanity, is our compassion, our collaboration, our creativity, our love together. So I say, stay in it, y'all. Stay in this. Stay strong. I love you. You can still choose to be extraordinary, even in extraordinary times of difficulty. That's actually when your greatness journey begins. I love y'all. If you like the audio of this entire session, just go to the Brendon Show podcast, and tomorrow we'll post this session. It's under the episodes called Striving in Chaos. And we've been doing this every single day. If you love these audios or you need a pickup, go to Brendon Show podcast, download all the Striving in Chaos episodes, and I'll chat with you tomorrow. Good night. Happy weekend. Love you guys.